Hello, guys. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Kia and I'm here with my darling husband, Bebonke.
Hi.
So, we started a series on dating, and today we'll be continuing it. And the slot for today is titled Activities You Can Carry Out While Dating or While in Courtship. So, stay tuned.
So, we'll be giving you guys some activities that people can do to make your courtship interesting and also to lay the right foundation for your marriage. So, stay tuned.
Okay. So, for the first activity to carry out, and it was true too for our case, is the case of counseling. Immediately I said yes to my husband's proposal. We started counseling with our marriage coaches from that time. So we had a period of counseling of close to 3 years. That's from the time I agreed to his proposal till the time we're getting married. We got into counseling, and I imagine what our marriage would have looked like without the counseling. I mean, the things we learned, the things we had to unlearn, the things we had to adapt and adjust to just to make the relationship to work. But it's sad that many people, especially guys, I don't know why, they
guys have
resist
a serious
counseling a
problem.
lot. Maybe you should talk to us more about it.
I'm still to do a research on that and know why most men resist counseling. I really don't have an idea or a statistics that shows what the reason why they resist counseling. I cannot really say that.
Because I feel like marriage counseling, it's more of the women who show up and who show interest and even try to understand the place of counseling in marriage. To me, it was a fun time. We learned a lot.
A lot.
That one, we may even need a whole video on it, but the counseling really helped us. It helped us to identify those things that were loopholes and some ideas we had about marriage and relationships that were not biblical and that were not correct. Throughout the counseling, those things were removed from us. So the next activity.
And the importance about courtship is that when you are in courtship and you have good counselors, they will help you see some of the loopholes in the relationship and areas where, after discussing, people could see that you people are really missing out and help you people. So a courtship with counseling is actually an interesting phase. You get to learn a lot of things that you did not know, read books that you had no idea about, and the content that it contained. So it was really an interesting period. It kept us going. Activity we're carrying out, we did a lot of retreats. We took a lot of retreats. And in those retreats, we were reading particular books, we listened to particular messages, or had particular topic to discuss. And that greatly helped us throughout our courtship.
And the retreats too served as a time where we discussed the assignments we were given by our counselors. For example, the first meeting we had with our counselors, they spoke to us about temperaments and love languages. So our retreats after that were centered on it. We were asked to discuss at large about our temperament and our love languages. We were given books to read. So our retreats were an opportunity for us to advance in those books that were given and to discuss and to try to see how to adjust based on the things we got to learn.
And one important thing the retreat helped us was that, during the retreat period, we take a long period of time together, which we would normally not have had those chances. And also to discuss maybe pertinent things concerning us, maybe our background, our perspective, or some areas where we think that we need to learn more about the other. And the retreat serves as a platform to help us effectively do that. So I think retreat is an important activity you should incorporate in your courtship or in your dating. It will really, really go a long way to help you and ameliorate your quality of relationship. So I think you should consider that too. So the next thing we're doing in the retreat, we did a lot of Bible studies as one of our activities. And we had specific passages of the Bible we read, passages that will help us to be able to love one another and respect one another. And we had also a program that we're following, which kept us going and made the whole relationship in that period more of a fun kind of relationship and a learning phase too.
The Bible studies for me, like my husband has always been this person that when he's explaining a story from the Bible, you will feel that it's a different story because the way he's going to dramatize it and then conclude with a practical lesson for me, to me, was always interesting. And so these things that I thought I knew, each time that we were to meet, I always looked forward to his own perspective about the passage, about the topic that we had to study about. So it helps you to see your partner's capacity, your partner's ability, and also helps you to discern your partner's depth with God. Because you may think that, okay, this is how this person is, or this is how his relationship with God is, but in discussing about those things, you realize that truly this is how this person is. So it's going to help you to know the level in which the person is, whether the person is a shallow Christian or is a deep Christian, or whether he's a Christian who is willing to learn and go deeper with God.
And also, these retreats we took and regular meetings also help us to be able to evaluate the person's perspective, the person's way of thinking, the person's intellectual state, and to understand how the person processes information. So it helps you know, maybe when you're having conflict, how would the person see it, or something's happened, what's the person's perspective. So it serves as a platform for us to effectively bond and learn to know ourselves more. Another aspect of the retreats where we got to learn about our families, which were a key, and to bond with our different families. Usually in marriage, people start bonding when they are already married. That's when you start knowing their siblings, their parents, where they are from. And usually, if you do it in marriage, you may not really have the opportunity to learn much from your family, or you may start seeing some things you did not have an idea about. And maybe at times, if you get married, you start having children, the children will come and cloud your determination to learn more about your partner's family. But during the retreat, we took time out because we should have a list of activity we'll be doing. Maybe one of them in the month can be, let's say, I want to know my wife's family more. We'll have as an objective. I'll get to know the parents, the siblings, where they are from, their background, what they consider as value, and what I consider as value. So some of those things were the things that we're really invested in doing courtship.
Another activity rather that you can carry out in courtship is discussing about your past.
Yeah.
So you get to know what the person's past was like. You get to know maybe the mistakes the other person made. For example, if you had a child before you met the other, it's important for you to let this person know about the child, and if possible, even meet the child, so that tomorrow, if the mother of that said child comes up and is talking about you will not feel hurt. So it gives you time for you to deal with the other person's past. But how will you know the past if you don't spend time discussing about it?
You don't have that platform even.
Yeah, so there are many things to discuss about, and the past even is just an aspect. So a main fun activity rather is discussing, like communicating, spend time talking about everything and nothing.
Yeah.
Like he spoke about values, for example. Another thing is that in some homes, the guys don't enter the kitchen. It's the value for that home. And you getting married to a guy from that kind of a family, that's what you should be expecting.
Yeah.
And if you do not talk about it during your courtship, it's something that you discover in marriage and you get hurt a lot. But to him, it's normal. So in your courtship, that's what you spend time discussing, getting to know the person's past, the person's background, the person's values.
Another activity we spend a lot of time doing was prayer and fasting. We did a lot of prayers, a lot of fasting. I mean, because marriage, you are entering something that you don't really have an idea of what it looks like in totality. You have heard testimonies, you have heard people's views of it, but you have to experience it. And I think the best way to always start as a Christian is starting the place of prayers. And prayers and fasting go in hand to enhance anything, any activity that you want to do. So we spend a lot of time regular praying and fasting. We had these, we'll fast. We have these, we're going to pray. And during those times, we had specific prayer points we'll be addressing. Maybe this fast will be for this aspect. I will focus on that, and we see how we are handling maybe issues that are coming up either between ourselves or from an external family member. So it really went a long way to help us.
Yeah, it was really helpful. And also I think that it's one of those times that you really have the flexibility to go on a common fast together.
Yeah.
Because when you get married, the reality of responsibility that comes with marriage dawns on you. And maybe your partner will want to be on a fast this period, and it's not convenient for you. And so you see it may not really it may not, your programs will not really match. And so when you are fasting, the other is not fasting. But while we're in courtship, knowing that we're entering into something we know nothing about, it helped us to easily come to that common
Ground.
that common ground. Okay, we are praying, we are fasting, we need to overcome this thing before we get married.
And another activity we spend our time doing was a lot of outings. We did a lot of outings, which were not based about prayers. We're not based about maybe knowing this person's past. No, just go have fun. I mean, we visited a lot of places. I mean, a lot of restaurants, we went out. And I encourage you, make your dating phase a fun period. Because if you start the outing tendency when you're in your courtship or when you're dating, it becomes part of you when people enter marriage. And marriage comes with its own pressure. When it's having pressure, you easily know what to do. You didn't know that maybe the next thing is taking a retreat. And that's why what we laid doing our courtship is a platform, a foundation of what we experience now. Like, it's easy for us to take a retreat because we know the effect of a retreat together. It's easy for us to go for outing because we know the effect. But
outings.
if you have not experienced that in a relationship when you were courting, and then now you come into marriage and then you want to start putting those things, usually it may not be that easy for you to apply it because maybe you see the importance of it, but your partner may not see it because people have not tested it together and see what it tastes like. So having outings when you're in courtships gives a spice to the relationship. It makes the fun places, and then also you have a gallery of pictures that you can keep and use as souvenirs. I mean, it brings some memory to that. I mean,
with respect to the outings, some people may be asking what is the cost of an outing. To me, the outing must not be an expensive outing. Like, I remember the first Puff and Beans joint I ever went to. It was my husband who took me there, and to me it was fun. And we also had these people around school who used to fry pasta with egg and bread. And sometimes the outing would just consist of us going to a place like that. And to me, it was fun. Sometimes another outing would be after counseling, we'll spend our time walking together for about 30 minutes. It was a fun activity. It was an outing. And we had other occasions where we went for prolonged outings. For example, we got to visit the zoo together. We went to the beach once, I think, when I'd moved here to Boy already. We had the opportunity to visit the zoo, visit the beach, and some other places that we had the opportunity to go to, eye shopping and the rest. And to me, it's nice. You must not have money. You go to the shop,
something very cheap.
You spin around the shop, and then you come out with a sweet for 100.
Yeah.
We've had a nice time.
Yeah, so I think that if you spice your courtship period with activities, with meaningful discussions, guided programs, it will go a long way to help you and fill that gap. Because if you don't put your courtship with activities that are guided towards something, definitely something will fill the picture. You start seeing how you have a tendency to start having premarital sex or investing in other things. And when sex comes into the picture, it blurs your vision of the reality of who your partner is. And you only know that when you get into marriage, then you're surprised. But your partner has been like that ever since. But because you did not spend time to know who your partner is, how to agree in the right way, how to discuss your differences, you get into marriage, you have to learn that in marriage. And usually it's not easy because in marriage you may not have a counselor to really help you, and also you may not be willing, or your partner may not be willing to give that investment after within marriage. Like, oh, it's done. What again? So they may not really see the importance of it. But doing courtship, you can implement that effectively doing courtship. And I tell you, when you have good activities, guided activities, have a vision, have an aim for the courtship, you are going to have a smooth early phase in marriage. Like most people say, the beginning of the marriage is usually troublesome. The reason it's troublesome is because they spend the courtship doing what they were not supposed to do, or not doing the right things. So when they get now married, they are now surprised. But when you spend it doing the right things, marriage becomes something you enjoy with your partner. So I encourage you, if you're in courtship or you are aiming at entering courtship, spend time doing the right things. Spend time praying together. Spend time doing meaningful activities, meaningful and guided discussions, spending time with your counselors. It will help a long way to help you. So thank you. If you like our video, please do well to share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, and also leave your comment in the comment section below, so get to read and see what you did during your courtship. Or if you have any question relating activities in courtship, please do well to leave your comment in the comment section below. So thank you. God bless you.
Bye.